Let's do some of these reacts that I have been promising. I did say fun day today. So the first one is from Tudor Yank. I don't know if you guys know Tudor Yank. Um doot, doot. It's another American woman who moved from the US to the UK recently. And this is her video about why she moved.
I moved to the UK from America. I came over on a spouse visa. My husband is a dual citizen. His mother is originally from London. Although he himself has never lived here, he was born in the States. He has tons of family here, and he used to spend like every summer growing up here. We started toying with the idea a couple years ago, and last summer we decided to make the leap. Like I said, he is a dual citizen, so for him, immigration was no more than renewing his passport and updating his photo. But for me, I came over on a spouse visa, which is a pretty long process since Brexit. You have to apply from your country of origin. So we got everything packed up and moved over last fall, and then I had to go back to the States and apply for my visa from my country of origin. Luckily, I have tons of wonderful friends in Los Angeles I was able to stay with, but there were a lot of reasons why.
Wait, she picked up and moved and then found out she had to apply for the visa. Why didn't you do that research ahead of time, hun? This is why you need the planners. You need a planner. You need to do that research ahead of time, definitely.
We wanted to move over here. One, mainly being his family is all here. Although his mom and dad still live in the States, all the extended family are over here. His brother is in Boston, which from Los Angeles to here is really equal distance as we used to be from them. And it's a little more beneficial being ahead in time now. We can FaceTime easier since they have two small kids.
Yeah, but it's a little bit harder commute. Like, Los Angeles to Boston flight is a little bit easier, I would think, than the flight from London to Boston. But Boston is great.
We didn't have any family in LA. We definitely didn't want to move back to our home states. I'm originally from Kentucky and he's originally from Texas. So we thought,
Kentucky is where wild turkey is made, you guys. Just saying. Kentucky straight. Moving along.
why not? We don't have kids. Let's pack up our things and let's go try something new. There's a million reasons to love the UK for sure. And I absolutely love it. As I'm looking past this camera, I'm looking out the window at this stunning blue sky with these cute Georgian rooftops. It looks like I know Dick Van Dyke did not do the best British accent in Mary Poppins, but it looks like a roof that he would have been a chimney sweep in.
Thank you. I see that all the time because we live in row houses and there's row houses across the street from us, and our television is in front of the big bay window. So every time we're looking with the television, I can see like the rooftops, and it's so cool. You guys don't get it if you're from America, you don't get it. It's so cool though. I agree with her on that one.
So when we decided to move, we looked at what it would be like to ship all our furniture over here, and that was going to be a 3-month shipping container from Long Beach to London. And it was going to be about $16,000 for just 300 square meters. So we decided to just pack up all of our things that fit in boxes, family mementos, photos, things like that, and ship those over, which was much easier. We used like just a shipping service, got them in a few days, and then just got new furniture once we got here, because honestly, by the end of it, our US furniture probably would have been way too large for things.
That's exactly the way to do it. Someone I know someone I used to work with moved here from Canada, and they waited a really long time for all their stuff as well, and they realized once it got here that it didn't fit, and they had to sell it and get new furniture anyway, so they waited all of that time, and they couldn't even get, like, the couch through the door and stuff, so they were really upset about it too, I remember. So the way to do it is to just sell everything and start fresh because you don't know where you're gonna end up. You don't know exactly what home, unless you have all of that squared away ahead of time, you still don't know until you get in there and see it. So it's just easier to get rid of everything as much as you can. We did the same thing. We sold everything that we could. Anything we couldn't sell, we gave away. We donated to charity or to somebody who needed it. And we shipped, the stuff that we couldn't pack in bags basically. And we just downsized the hell out of our life. So we had to start all over. When we came into our flat and everything, we had no furniture. So we just had to start over completely. So we literally have all hand-me-down stuff. Most of our furniture was given to us. We bought a few pieces, but yeah, we just basically started over as if we were just moving out of our first apartment, but you know what? It's much better that way. I think it's much easier to do it that way, to be honest with you. And a fresh start is a fresh start, right? If you're having a big move like that, I feel like that's the kind of you wanna start it from everywhere. Everywhere? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, you guys know what I mean.
King size beds don't come in the same size over here. The UK king size or super king is closer to like an American queen size bed. Um,
Yeah.
we brought our cats, which was a fun adventure on its own. Because of Brexit, you can't bring cats or pets in the cabin. They have to go in cargo, which was really stressful for me to think about at first because I'm used to what it's like having pets in cargo in the States, which is not a good experience. But cargo for international is in a temperature controlled room. I thought my cats would get off the flight absolutely hating me, but they got out of the pet carrier like nothing had happened.
Oh, cool.
I toyed with a bunch of different options, such as taking the Queen Mary to a cruise ship that is pet friendly from New York to Southampton. I looked at flying into Rotterdam with them and then taking the ferry. But after mapping out all these different ideas and the time it would take to travel, which would definitely piss my cats off way more, we decided to just use Starwood Pets, and they deal with all the paperwork. You have to make sure your cats have a 16-digit microchip than a 12-digit, which is more common in the States. They pick them up at your door, they drop them off at your new place. It was really, really easy, and I'm super grateful that we used the service. There were some funny things about the paperwork bringing them. They have to go through vets that are certified in the UK, and the UK's equivalent to what America's Fish and Wildlife is. It's called the USDA. So now we just joke that our cats are USDA certified. But on top of being close to family, having just a different pace of life.
We thought it like we weren't able to bring our dog because she's a pit bull breed, so we had to rehome her. Um, but I often thought about that, like, even just traveling when I had a cat and when we had our dog, just traveling in general is like a pain in the ass. So I always think about people who have to travel overseas and like long distances and with their pets. Like, what do you I mean, I remember I had a friend who moved from California to the East Coast and she had cats. Yes, it was cats as well. And I remember that I think they gave that's like for those of you who don't know, that's like a 6-hour flight from California to New Jersey. Um, and so they were like, I think what she said was they like gave them a sedative or something so that they could like survive in cargo, which is like she said, I've heard horror stories about cargo for pets as well in the US. So shocking. They don't take care of the passengers for her. They take care of the pets. Um, So I think that's what she said they did. They gave them something to like sedate them, and then they were not actually 100% with it till they got to the new place. So I think that's how they ended up doing it. But even then, I was like, I don't know if I could do that. That seems so risky. I don't know.
Life here. Of course, one of the big factors was the election. It's just so annoying, so loud, so obnoxious, so different than the world that we grew up in America. We did our ballots before we left, so we didn't just not vote and leave. We already had planned on leaving. Either way, we knew no matter who won the election, things like gun control and healthcare reform and student loan reform, none of those are happening in our lifetime in America.
Mhm.
And being the age we are and the opportunity we had to go, we just thought, why don't we just go actually find the American dream, which is not in America anymore? Now we're close to his cousin.
That's really, really funny that she said that because I know I've said stuff like that as well. Um, it is really, there's so many people who realize that the American dream is not really viable in the US anymore. And she's right. It didn't matter who won the election. I mean, it mattered in some levels because we see what Trump is doing now, but it didn't matter who won the election as far as how the people were actually going to be taken care of. They just don't. They're too corrupt. There's too much corruption and money in politics in the U.S. There's nothing's going to get done for the people for a really long time. There needs to be a massive shift, and that's just not going to happen. Like she was saying, that was part of why we left as well, because, we knew we could survive, but we didn't know what kind of world our daughter was gonna be in, right? And it would be better to get her acclimatized to a new environment now than wait and see what happens, there's playing havoc with her future. So, that's funny that she said that.
Cousins. We get to see them all the time. It's wonderful being able to just walk out your door to a museum. And culturally, I feel like
She said museum. That was so Southern. That was some Kentucky stuff right there. Museum. Ah.
I fit in a little bit better here than in the States. I'm originally from Kentucky, which is a lot of please and thank yous, which is the same as it is here. You cannot say I'm sorry too many times. I do like that. While I did love Los Angeles, growing up in the South, you're raised not to be braggy about yourself or anything that comes off as vain. And in LA, you really do have to brag about your work to continue to get work. And before people say, oh, it's because LA is superficial, blah, blah, blah. Actually, it's because most people are freelance in LA. No matter what film you work on, you're typically an LLC as yourself, invoice the company that you work on, move on to the next project. And because of that hustle freelance lifestyle that Los Angeles is due to entertainment, you constantly have to be the billboard for yourself, which I always struggled with. I didn't really like having to do that part of it. So far, absolutely loving everything over here. The grocery stores or supermarkets, the ease of public transit, which is so much safer than public transit in the States. The fact that public transit even exists and is functional is like my
See, I told you guys, it's not just me. It's crazy, but like you would think because the United States is so vast and there's so much money that it would be something they would invest in. But it isn't. They just don't. They don't care. And she's right. The areas that do have public transportation are usually not safe, especially for women.
mind blown. Love it. Um, yeah. Basically, I just kind of want to like keep checking in. I keep learning different things while I'm here, experiencing different things, learn about council, the immigration process, all these things. So, if there's any of these topics that you want to hear about specifically, that you want me to dig in deeper as an American immigrating or as a native Brit, just curious what it's like from the outside, like, subscribe, follow. Leave a comment below. Let me know if any of those topics you want me to dig in deeper to.
Oh, she's sweet. That was cool. It was really, really interesting. It was so nice to be validated about public transportation and to be validated about what was the other thing? I literally just watched it. You guys, I can't do this anymore. Wow. All right. I'm losing it. I'm completely losing it. I blame it on the cold. I blame it on the British autumn. You guys are wearing me down. I don't know. I don't know how, but you guys are definitely the cause. Oh my gosh. Remember she was talking about her cat, she was talking about the freelancing, the pleases and thank yous, that hit home as well. Oh, the election, that was the other thing. It was really nice to be validated about the election, and it was really nice to be validated about the public transport because y'all like it is I know it's something that y'all don't really like, you feel like it's easier to just drive. It's such it's like the NHS. It's such an important part of functioning, even if you don't use it. It's so important that we keep it going and that we make it public because there's just it helps so much, especially because you guys have it everywhere here. And she's in London as well, so she's definitely got a lot going on there. Maybe. I think some of it, to be honest with you, and this is not to put anyone else down, but I'm a little bit older than some of the other people that have come here. So I feel like they are just maybe a little more idealistic and romanticizing anyway. Or just I don't know. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. But I do feel like some people do, and I think I did as well for a bit. But I also had, an extremely British person in my household in America for a long time who is not a fan of America. So, always told me about the real shit that is going down in the UK anyway. I try to be as realistic as possible, but I'm trying to get idealistic about things as well. That was something I actually did a whole video about this because when it finally hit me that I had more like I was closer to the American dream here within a couple of years and I was working my entire life in my old country, in my home. It is a sobering thought. It's a really hard pill to swallow.